There's some things in life that prove to be really anxiety ridden. And one of those things is when you're driving on the road and then suddenly your car gets a flat tire and you're like, "Oh, well, I guess now I have to deal with this." And especially in today's day and age, um, Nicole Spector in 2016 said that about 60% of people do not know how to change their tire, which is something that has proven to be a real detriment to a lot of people's time and money. So today I'm going to be teaching you how it is that you change a tire. And hopefully, maybe you won't be able to learn every single step, but grasp a whole concept of some understanding of like, oh, and I can do this and then this step and maybe use the tire iron in this way and overall be more comfortable with a car and its parts. So before it is that you start to change your tire, one of the most important things is understanding that you need to be in a safe environment to change your tire. If you're driving on the freeway and you get a flat, pulling over to the side of the road is what you should do, but that is not the place to change your tire because, of course, there's going to be cars going around and you obviously don't want to get hit. So the best place to change your tire is usually in a driveway or an open lot, somewhere where you have a lot of space to move. There's not too many people walking around, things like that. The other essential before you start is knowing the necessary tools that you need. The five necessary tools that you need are a tire iron, a jack stand, tire wedges, and a spare tire. Of course, you need a spare tire, or else you won't be able to change the tire. Um, so once you make sure that, so these are items that you should always have in your car just in case. Maybe they're in the trunk of the car. There's usually a slot underneath where you can pull it up and the tire is hidden and tools like that. So once you're in a safe space and you have all your tools, the first thing that you need to do is make sure make sure that your car isn't going to be moving anywhere. So you're going to have to pull the handbrake, make sure the car's in park, turned off, and then take the tire wedges, and you're going to have to put them on the tire that's opposite of the one that's flat. So if your front left tire has got the flat, you put the tire wedges on the side, jammed under the tire of the rear right tire, just as precaution, make sure that the car doesn't move, and especially so it doesn't roll back and accidentally run over something, because then you have a bigger issue to worry about. After you got all the wedges in place, you have to take your tire iron, which is a long metal bar, and you go around to all of the nuts, all the lug nuts on the tire, which are these hexagonal little almost washers on the car, and you have to take the tire iron, make sure it's parallel to the ground, and pointing out to the left. And usually you have to stomp on it a few times, sound like bones cracking because it's really tight in there. Don't worry, it's not bad for the car or anything. Once you've loosened all the tire irons, make sure that they don't come off. They're just loose so that you can take them off later. Because when you're jacking up the car, you want to make sure that the tires aren't going to fall off when you're bringing it up, which could damage the screws that the lines are on. So the next thing that you need to do is get your car jack. And with the car jack, usually in most cars there's a specified place for you to put the car jack in a specified car jack, but for most situations it's on the side of the car near the tire. So you take the jack, and usually it's a wind up. So you stick it under the car, you wind it up, and you make sure that the tire is at least about a centimeter or two above the ground. Take the tire iron again, and then loosen all the lug nuts and take them off. At this point, make sure you still have them, and then take the tire off the car. While it might seem a little difficult, it's just a brief little pull, and you'll be able to get it off. After that, all you need is a spare tire. It's a lot lighter. Put it back on, and then you're going to take the lug nuts, screw them back on, by hand, and then you're going to have to take the tire iron again and then briefly jolt them so that they'll tighten a little bit, but that the tire won't move because the jack is still on there. So once they're tightened a little bit, you unwind the jack, make sure it's really slow, and the car is resting back on the ground. And then you have to take the tire iron again for the 5th time or whatever, and really make sure that all those nuts are secure. But there's a specific pattern they have to do that in, which is a star-shaped pattern, because if you just go in a circle, there's a high chance that all of the nuts aren't going to get properly tightened all the way. So you have to make sure that you do a star pattern at least a couple of times, make sure they're all really secure, and then thankfully you've just changed your first tire. But don't worry, even though it looks like a pentagon, you're not going to be joining a cult or anything. So after that, everything's done. All you need to do is clean up, put all your tools back in the trunk of your car or whatever, and you're on your way. But make sure that you've read the instructions on your spare tire and seen that, because they have a speed limit, so that you don't go over that speed limit and burst your tire, because then you're just in the same place that you were again. So hopefully that you've all learned something, maybe not 100% confident in changing a tire, but at least having a general understanding as to, I somewhat understand, and again, feeling comfortable with your car and all of its properties and how it works. Thank you.